Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated, where today I'm just thrilled to death to be joined by actress, singer, songwriter, podcaster, Kyla Carter. So welcome, Kyla.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
So I'm going to start it a little different this time. So how's the podcasting going?
It's really great. I love it so much. It was a brand new experience for me. I
Yeah.
started back in April doing a segment called Kyla's Corner on the Mark White Show.
Yeah.
And the way he kind of found me was he interviewed me, actually, kind of like what we're doing now. Just
See,
asking
I'm always late. I'm always late.
kind of just asking me about like what I do. And he was like, I love your positivity. Would you like to do a segment on my show? And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I've never done anything like this, but yeah, sure. So that's how I started
Awesome.
that. And we're at about maybe 30 episodes now. So come a long way since the beginning, which is really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what a great idea. Good for Mark.
Oh yeah. Awesome. I love
Now
it.
I've listened to some of them. You're really good at it.
Thank
Really
you.
good. Yeah, and he's right. You're so positive, and they're definitely worth a listen. I really enjoyed them. It's on my list now. So that's something you're always looking for something good to listen to when you're working out or you're in the car. Just whatever it is to kind of fill the space. And yeah, you're definitely in the rotation now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's really cool. So my normal starting point would be to ask you how you got into the entertainment business or what made you want to become an entertainer.
Yeah, I was probably about 4 years old, and there was a commercial on TV for Shirley Temple DVD set with
Yeah.
all of her movies in it. And 4-year-old me like pointed at the screen and I was like, Mom, I need this, I need this, I need this. And she's like, oh, okay. She calls the number and she orders the DVDs and I finally get them. I actually still have it. It's like all of her movies, all in black and white.
Wow.
Some of them are in color. I watched them over and over and over again. And I think that's kind of when I decided, like, I want to do what she does because I love that. So I think she's definitely been like a role model for me. And kind of what keeps me going is like, she was such an inspiration in what
Yeah.
she acting, what she did, and how she transitioned from child prodigy forward into her like adult life. So she is just awesome. And I'm so happy that she was the one who inspired me to get into all of this.
Yeah, I love that because I've always been a big Shirley Temple fan, but that's for someone your age, that's unusual that would be the role model you would choose. So
Mhm.
I think that's really unique. But it kind of fits because you're kind of multi-talented, just like she was. Because you sing, you dance, you act, you podcast, you do all this stuff that's basically that was Shirley Temple.
Yeah, I think that is what influenced me to do everything. Because originally she was like singing, and I think that's what I was like, oh, I want to do that. And then with
Yeah,
singing comes acting and dancing and
yeah.
so on and so forth. So just pushing myself, and like I'll still like watch some of her movies, and I'll just be like, oh wow.
Do you have a favorite?
Probably Little Princess. I just love
Yeah,
her movie so much. It's so good. All of her movies are just so awesome. And since the time period is like so different from where I am now, it's like a nice resource to go back to, especially when you're doing something around that time period.
yeah.
Like I just like, oh, I get to watch more Shirley Temple. Yay.
Don't you think it's time for a Little Princess remake? You could totally be the
I
new
love
Shirley Temple.
Princess. So
You have to, yeah. I mean, you're doing everything else. You could write it. You could write the screenplay.
I can write the screenplay. Somebody sign me up. I'm ready to
That's
go.
right. All right. Remember, it was my idea, so
What's your idea? I'll give you credit.
I want in on it. That's right. That's right. So when you start making it, call me up. I want a piece of that. That's really great. So when you went to or started school, what were you involved in?
I actually am not involved in a lot of after school activities, even when I was younger.
Yeah.
Everything I kind of did was out of school. For me, school was like kind of like a box. It still is kind of a box. Like you're meant to meet all these expectations and
That's
everything.
right.
So everything that I did separate. So I did so much dance growing up. I love dancing. I still
Yeah.
do dance. I do like 14 hours of dance a week.
Holy
And
cow. That's a lot
yeah,
of dance.
there's a lot of dance. So I started off with just plain old singing lessons. And then from that evolved into dance lessons, into going into the city, into doing acting, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What kind of dance do you take?
Oh gosh, everything. Ballet, jazz, tap. Tap is my favorite. Hip
Yeah.
hop, modern, lyrical, the list point, like the list goes on.
All the dance.
All the
You
dance.
take all the dance. So what was your first professional role?
My first professional role was actually my first audition ever. It was
Okay.
for What Would You Do? And I was supposed to be a little pageant taught. And my first audition ever, and I was so nervous. And I went in and I walked out and they were like, "Oh yeah, you got the job." And it was so weird because
That's
my
rare.
parents were like so new to this. We're like, "Oh, that just happens like that?" Well, so I loved it. It was a great experience, especially learning how to be on set at such a
Yeah.
young age. I feel like everything I've done so far has like prepared me for things that are coming in the future or things that did come in the future, which
Right.
I'm so thankful for. And I'm really thankful for that job too, because that was like my first experience, like with a camera in your face the whole
Yeah.
time, which I became more comfortable around it. And I think like growing up with that, like mindset, like, oh, the camera's on you, you're fine, instead of just being like,
Right.
whoa, what's all this. It was really great, but I loved that job. It was really great. Got to meet so many amazing people and work with adults too, so everything was
Yeah.
great.
That's terrific. So I know you play guitar. Do you play any other instruments?
I do. I play guitar, piano, ukulele, and violin.
Really?
I do, yeah.
That's an interesting combination.
It is. It really is. Started my first instrument I started playing was piano when I started lessons maybe at 5, and I
Yeah.
hated it. I absolutely hated it. I did not want anything to do with it. So I was like, "Mom, can I quit?" So then I quit piano for a while, but I've always wanted to play violin. So then when I went
Yeah.
into middle school, I started playing violin and ukulele. And then one day I just decided, I think it was like my 12th birthday, I was just like, "I want to play guitar." Okay.
Well,
So she got
yeah.
the guitar and I started playing guitar. And now it's my favorite thing to play out of everything. So
Yeah. That's awesome. So when you do your music, do you normally play guitar with, as you're singing?
it kind of depends. I mean, if I'm writing, it depends on like the mood of the song. I tend to write towards more like folk country
Yeah.
music. So if it's more folk country, I'll play guitar, of course. Or
Right.
sometimes I want like a lighter sound, so ukulele, or sometimes it's a pop ballad and I want to play piano. So I guess it kind of just depends on the song or how I'm feeling. It could be
Right.
something totally different, but I like translating it from like if I'm playing it on the guitar, I'm like, how would this sound on the piano? And then just playing all the instruments to see how it sounds. My poor family, it's like I'm banging on the instruments all day long. I'm like strumming, and my brother's like, "Oh my goodness, stop. I'm in class."
Well, yeah, everybody's home taking class now, I guess. Well, you've got a beautiful voice. I've been listening to the some of your songs, and you really do jump around different genres, which is really interesting. But your voice kind of lends itself. You're very adaptable, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And also, so when I was setting this up to talk with you, the role that I knew you from was on The Leftovers, right?
Yeah.
So you were young Nora,
Young
right?
young Nora, yeah.
Yeah, young Nora. So tell me a little bit about that. How did that role come about? Did you audition? Did somebody approach you? What happened there?
I was about 7 when I did that job. And I
Yep.
think that was another learning experience too, because I did like What Would You Do and a couple other things, but that was like on set, all adults, you're the only kid.
Yeah.
So it was like really scary, especially like the context of the scene too was like the house was supposed to be burning down. And me, of course, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's going to be a fire, a house. This is my 7-year-old imagination. And of course, there's just lights on the house, and you're just like trying to imagine all of this happening, it was cool. I got to see behind, and then I got to see the finished product when it looked like the
Yeah.
house was burning. So I was like, whoa, that's awesome. I only got to watch my scene, of course, because I was too little to watch the
Yeah,
show.
that's right. That's right.
But
Have you seen any of it since?
I haven't actually. I was talking with
Okay.
my parents the other day. I was like, I can't believe I was in that show. Like, that was not like a kid-friendly show. They're like, yeah, that's why we only show you your like one scene.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's a good show though. So
it is.
someday.
Yes, someday I'll watch it. But it's like it's very heavy. So
Yeah, it really is.
it really is really heavy. So even me, who's like, I like don't like heavy things. I think they're like very depressing. So I'm like, I'd rather watch a Disney movie. But the audition process, I remember it being fairly easy. I think I only had a couple lines, so it wasn't really that hard. I guess it was more based on like a look. And I think that's with everything too. When you go
Right.
into an audition, it was like all the puzzle pieces just tend to fit together. I think maybe there was like 3 rounds of auditions, the initial, then a callback, then a director's session. So it wasn't that hard, which was very enjoyable because since other processes for auditions have been like 7 rounds.
Right.
But it was a great learning experience. I wouldn't trade that experience for the world though.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Do you have a preference on singing or acting?
I do.
Yeah.
I love them all. I love them all so much. But I initially started off singing. So
Yeah.
singing would just always, if I could do one thing, I'd pick singing because I sing all the time. I sing walking around the house. I sing in school, sing doing my homework. So all the time. So I think if I were to pick one thing, it would be singing. And it's just so hits home. I started singing with instruments, and I think that's even better for me because
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it sounds great. It's always awesome. So to answer your question, singing.
But yeah, that's really cool. So have you done theater?
Yes, I did. I was on the Sound of Music Broadway National Tour for 18 months. And then I was on White Christmas for the past 2 years as Susan Waverly.
Yeah, that's pretty. Both of those are pretty heavy hitters. That's pretty awesome.
Classic.
That's pretty awesome. So, what was your role in Sound of Music?
That's kind of a funny story. So I originally started off as the understudy for Gretel Marta.
Yeah.
So meaning I covered both roles, and then I moved up to Gretel. And then I moved up to Marta, and then I moved up to the Brigitte understudy. So as I got taller, I grew in each role, which is just so funny to watch my evolution through the 18 months of growing into each person. Oh, it was so great. So many.
That's such a great show. Love it.
The music's gorgeous.
Oh, it is. It is. Do you have a favorite song?
Probably like Lonely Goat Herd. That was such a fun song to perform. So silly, and I think everybody just had a fun time. Like, we're in her bedroom. We got to like move this bed around the stage and like act out all these fun little parts with her. She had her guitar. We were in pajamas. It was just such like the best scene for me to perform and to sing. I think that's why I liked it. It was very fun. It wasn't as like choir-esque as like the song Sound of Music or my favorite things.
Right.
It was more just silly playing around with all the people I loved on stage.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you get along well with the other kids in the cast?
Oh yes, we are like siblings. It's so crazy how you don't know somebody one day and the next you're like brother and sister, especially with the boys that were backstage with me initially when I was playing. I became really close with them. And of course, all the girls are like my sisters, which is so awesome. I haven't seen them in a while since COVID, but usually we try and meet up in like the city and talk and FaceTime because it's like you're missing your family. It's like you're going on a long family road trip and then you're like, oh,
yeah, you did it for so long.
I did it for so long. Yeah. Even the old cast members really became like family, which was so great. I feel like going on tour with both tours that I was on, it was just such a family environment. Like you always felt safe and you felt that everybody, like you belonged. Nobody was like outcasted.
Right.
Like a group, and it was just really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so have you seen the the movie adaptions, Sound of Music, White Christmas?
I have. I've watched them multiple times. I watched the Julie Andrews version first, was the first Sound of Music I watched. Then I watched Sound of Music live after that. And then I booked role. I actually went in for Sound of Music live and I was like down to the very end for the role, but I ended up getting the tour, which was like so insane. So it was like rounds and rounds of auditions. And then I watched the original White Christmas too, where my character, Susan Waverly, is actually older, where the Broadway show, she's younger. So that was an interesting little twist.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, because it's been a while since I've seen that one, but I was thinking that she was a little bit older.
In the movie, she's about like 16.
Yeah.
And then the Broadway show, she's supposed to be like 9, 10. So it's interesting the age gap between them both. But I personally like her a little bit younger. I think it adds more character to the story.
Yeah.
She's not as close to an adult, adds a little bit of childlike-esque wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Both those are such great movies and shows. Sound of Music is almost, I mean, that was one when I was growing up, they would show it every Easter.
Oh, wow.
When they showed that, which was kind of interesting, but that's just, it was on network TV every Easter. And now, I don't know if it's still on Easter, but you can watch it anywhere now.
Oh yeah,
all the time now.
Any like streaming site, it's like crazy. It's crazy the internet we have now, and all the like Wi-Fi and.
I know your generation is blessed and cursed, I think, with the amount of technology we have now. So let's talk about Trolls.
Yeah.
Because this, I think it's really interesting. I always like to hear the voice acting side of it, because I think a lot of times people assume that voice acting is very easy. And I would contend that it's just as hard or harder than regular acting, because you have to display so much just with sound.
Oh,
you don't have any physical way to kind of demonstrate the emotion. So I just wonder about your thoughts on that.
I totally agree. When I walk into a recording booth, it's like your energy has to be at like 1,000%. Like imagine like smiling on stage, and then imagine like trying to portray that smile through your voice. It's very hard to do. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're just talking into a microphone, you're fine. And it's like the total opposite. When I come out of sessions, I am dead tired. Like I will take like 3-hour-long naps, because when you're keeping like your adrenaline up for that long and paying it like so laser focused, it's very draining, but it's so much fun. It's very they throw a lot of stuff at you at once, so you have to be easily adaptable. Like one of the directions they gave me in the room was, oh, try to sound like Batman for this take. I'm just like, okay, here we go. Or
all right, wait a minute. Can I hear your troll Batman?
My troll Batman.
Yeah.
It was just it was the weirdest like request, because my character was supposed to be so animated, so light, and they're like, can you do Batman? And I was like, was not expecting that, but okay. Or they'll be like, do this line 3 different ways, go. And off the top of my head, I'm like, 3 different ways, let's go. So it's a lot harder, I actually think, than regular just plain acting, because levels are really important in regular acting, like having different emotions throughout, where voice acting is like different lines have different emotions. You're usually keeping the same emotion throughout like the whole scene.
Right.
Which is just so crazy on my but I love it.
So I think the one that I've seen was Trolls The Beat Goes On, which is on Netflix, right? And you did that for a while, like 3 or 4 seasons.
I did, yes. I originally came out in 2017. I think my episode came out in 2017. And I booked that job when I was about maybe 11, 12. Now I'm 14. So I was on the Netflix one for a while. And then recently with the TrollsTopia, the new movie Trolls World Tour coming out, they were like, oh, they're going to release a spinoff with those characters. So it was really cool to kind of see the transition, because
Yeah, it's
one day
awesome.
I got a script that's had all these new characters and I was like, oh wait, what is this? I don't know any of these characters. I was like, oh wait, this is TrollsTopia, this is a new show. That's so insane. It was really great. It was really exciting. And of course, all the voices on TrollsTopia are just as awesome. And a lot of the
Yeah,
people are the same, which is really great. You're hearing the same voices, the same people.
it's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really well done. Do you get a lot of fan feedback based on your character?
I do. A lot of people like my character, which makes me like really happy,
It's a
because
fun character.
I love my character. She is so different. Well, she's not as different as I thought she is than me, but she's a lot cooler than me, I would say. She's so like rock. She's not really rock, but she's really calm, really chill, kind of just like her aunt in the show, who's an original character from the original movie.
Yeah.
But fans love my character, which really makes me feel happy. And I get so many positive messages like, oh, we love CJ. And I get so many like fan mail of people drawing her, which is just makes me so happy. It's
That's
like, I
awesome.
never thought that like people would be one, drawing me, or two, drawing my character.
Yeah.
Just so crazy to think about.
Yeah, that's so much fun. So I've been playing your Because You're You
Oh,
song,
that's my song.
Roundhouse. Yeah, I've been playing that. So I've got a 1-year-old granddaughter, and she absolutely loves that song. Every time it comes on, she doesn't quite sing yet because she's still working on the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
talking part, but she hums. She'll hum every time it comes on. She hums to it. It's the best.
Oh, that's so sweet. See, that's what like makes my day, especially like the little kids, because of course it's a show for all audiences. But I know so many like little toddlers or like
Yeah.
little kids that just love the show, and it just makes me so happy to kind of be a part of their childhood. Where like I look at the shows that I watched when I was little, it's like, oh, I remember those shows. Where they're gonna be like, oh, I remember Trolls. That's so awesome. Like, oh my gosh, that's so insane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So is your room covered in troll memorabilia?
My room, I actually recently just redid my room, and I have a whole wall, a whole wall covered in Broadway stuff,
Yeah.
Trolls stuff. A show I did when I was little called Wally Kazam when
Oh, I love Wally Kazam.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have I was actually gifted with like an oil painting of my
Oh,
character.
wow.
Then for my 13th birthday, I was gifted with a painting of CJ. So I have them on opposite sides of the room where I'll
That's
just
pretty
look at
cool.
the wall and be like, oh, that's me. That's my
Yeah,
character.
that's so awesome. You were Hattie the Witch?
Hattie the Witch. Yep.
Hattie the Witch, yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So what year was that? Was Wally Kazam? When was it out?
I'm gonna say maybe 2012.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because my youngest,
Mhm.
2012 would have been 10, 11, and he watched it when it was out. That's why I remembered it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, I know that show. I knew that show. So that was cool. I always liked the connections when I'm getting ready to talk to somebody when it's stuff that I've seen, and then I can go, now I
Ah,
can put the person to the voice and stuff. That's awesome.
it's so sweet.
So you've been like everybody else. You've been dealing this year with all that's been going on, and it's been a difficult year. So like in our family, especially early on, we were binge watching a lot of stuff, and you were just looking for stuff to watch. So I was curious, what have you been watching, or what are you watching now?
Oh my goodness, so many things. I feel like I'm on a new show every single day.
Yeah, I know.
So many things I've watched. When Disney Plus originally came out, I think I've
Yeah.
watched Hamilton like 7 times, which is like
Hamilton is so good. Even watching it, it feels like you're there.
exactly like I was lucky enough to see it in person
Oh wow.
around 2017,
Yeah.
and I felt the same like amount of awe and like emotion that I had when I was in the theater. So I think anything on Disney Plus, I think I've been just watching, really just binge watching all the Disney movies. My whole goal is to watch every single movie on Disney Plus before everything goes back to normal, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm getting close. I am getting close. So
What's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh goodness, that's a hard
I
question.
know that's a tough one.
Maybe Alice in Wonderland. I think
Oh,
that
nobody ever chooses. I love that. I love that movie. Nobody chooses that one. That's a
I love
good
that
one.
one. It's a really good one. It's not one of the newer ones. Of course, there's like Coco, which I love Coco. The
Coco's good.
Coco is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's real good.
Frozen's a common one too. But
Yeah.
I think Alice because it's it's really connected to me and how she's like trying to hold on to something of like
Yeah.
her childhood. And I feel like I've been going through that, especially during like quarantine. And I've been writing songs about that, of course. Because that's like an easy way to cope with things is like write songs about them. So I think that's why I like Alice in Wonderland so much.
Yeah.
Because I like relate to it. And also it's so beautiful, the animation.
Yeah,
Even
it
the
really is.
live action version with Johnny Depp is just
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
That was really well done. That was Tim Burton, I think, that did that
mhm.
one.
Yeah, gorgeous,
Yeah,
gorgeous show.
yeah. That's really well done. So when my oldest was younger, and she was a dancer, she loved Cheetah Girls and High School Musical.
Oh
That
yeah,
may be a little before your time, but did you watch either of those?
I did. I watched them both. I watched High School Musical. I think my friends and I have had sleepovers and watched that movie, all the movies,
A catchy movie.
20 times in a row. It's so I love my friends and how we can just like watch movies. But when I watch movies, I love to look at the acting. So I
Yeah,
kind of ruin the movie for them in a way.
right.
Because I'm like, oh, he should have said that line different. I'm like, come on, that wasn't capturing the essence of what it was supposed to. And they're like, Kyla, stop. I'm like, I'm just saying. But both Cheetah Girls and of course High School Musical classics,
Yeah,
classic 2000s movies. I
yeah,
just
yeah. Really, really good. So, do you have any uh, plans in the future to get behind the camera or to do writing, anything like that?
I think I'm just starting to figure that out. I feel like
Yeah.
before quarantine, I thought, oh, I'm totally going to school for musical theater. That's it, set in stone. And I started like really writing music and kind of like finding myself again. Because as
Yeah.
I'm like 14, so like going from like kid to like teenager in like the last 2 years has been like a weird transition, I guess. So I was like, but maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to go to school for writing or English or literature or something with writing because I
Yeah.
love writing. I love English is my favorite subject. My dad's an English teacher. So I've always had like a connection with English,
Yeah.
with writing and music. So I don't really know where I want to go. I think it's all like a journey and I'm going to figure it out at some point. I
Yeah.
still have a little bit of time.
You've got plenty of time, tons
Yeah,
of time,
we'll see.
tons of time.
I'm
What,
excited.
so when you're writing, when you're songwriting, what inspires you? What happens that, or do you just sit down and start writing?
It kind of depends on the day, I guess. Like if I know when I have like inspiration and I can immediately write something, but if I don't
Right.
have motivation or inspiration, it's like I'm staring at a blank page for an hour or two. So it kind of depends. If I'm upset about something, it's easier to write about that.
Well, sure.
I'm like really excited. Or it kind of depends on the season too. Like around Christmas, like writing Christmas songs or something
Yeah.
that's more cozy and more warm, where in the summer, it's like summer songs like Watermelon Sugar and like all the type of music, I guess. So it kind of depends. Recently I've been writing about like insecurities and like being yourself. I think that's a good
Yeah.
place to always start because there's so much you could write about that. With any topic, there's really a lot you could write about. It's just finding the part that you want to write about that makes it different from everybody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. I think that's pretty awesome. So do you have plans for an album? Anything along those
I
lines?
do. I'm going to be releasing music in 2021, which I'm
Ooh,
very excited
yeah,
about.
it's exciting.
Yes. So I can't enclose too much on that, but you will be
No,
hearing,
you got to stop right now and start singing. This is it. No.
you will be hearing from me and you'll be hearing some of my original music, which is really great.
Well, yeah, you have to come back when that actually gets to the
Oh,
point
yes.
where you can, give us a little preview of that. That would be awesome. What's the genre?
I would say it's a folk pop song.
Ooh, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Anyone that kind of inspires you or that you emulate at all?
Oh yeah, I feel like definitely. in like the pop world, Taylor Swift recently,
Mhm.
especially with her albums that like just came out, like Folklore and all
Yeah,
of her, she's kind of changing her style. And I really like that about her, how she can, again, easily adaptable, how she
right.
sings like a wide variety of different music. So I think recently she's really been inspiring me, especially like people like Kelsey Ballerini, her too.
Yeah,
She has like a gorgeous country sound. So it kind of depends, I guess, again, on the day, what I'm feeling
right.
that.
Sure. Yeah,
But
that's
definitely Taylor
great.
Swift and Kelsey Ballerini have definitely been inspiring me.
Well, they're so talented, and both those tend to change their style because they kind of tweak it
They do, yeah.
every
They
time you hear them.
flip flop back and forth, which is really
Yeah,
good. Different
yeah,
things.
it's really good. So, is there um, is there something that you haven't tried yet that you're wanting to try or excited to try?
That's a good question. I feel like there's so many things I want to try, like musically. I want to learn like so many more instruments. Like if I could learn a million more instruments, I wish I could. But I guess with like COVID and everything, it's like
Mhm.
it's still hard. Like I want to get out. I want to go back like
Sure.
New York City and I want to like be there and be around like all my people, I guess. But I guess COVID's kind of holding me back. So but when I get into when I'm actually allowed to like be in New York
Yeah.
City, I would love to just like meet up with people, make some music, have a fun time. I think that's what's really been like holding me back is like getting back in the recording studio, like trying to get back in.
Well, yeah, yeah. So that's why I said this year's been so difficult, and but it's also I think been a good year for self reflection and trying different things that you may not have had the time to try before.
Exactly. I feel like the gift of COVID was time for me, especially because like I've left my family countless number of years. Like the past 5 years, I've been on tour, going a million different places. So really just like getting to connect with my dad, my brother, and like with my mom and actually become like a family again was really nice. And then
Yeah,
taking time to like take time to myself and not just like constantly keep going and keep going, which
yeah,
is the point I'm just like so tired. I think was really great. The first 2 weeks, I think the first 2 weeks were the best until everything kind of went downhill.
right. That's right.
But it was really great to kind of reflect on that. And I still look back at that time. I'm like, I'm so thankful I had
Yeah.
that. I think especially this Thanksgiving, that's what I was thankful for. I was thankful for all the time I got to spend with my family, being in our house, being with my pets, and just like really getting to relax and like find myself, which was really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Kyla, this has been great. I love talking with you, and you really are positive in person. You made me feel better, and I came in feeling pretty good. Now this podcast deal though, I know Mark's giving you a corner, but what if I give you like a whole room?
Ooh.
In the room,
Oh,
maybe we can negotiate.
oh, room. That's so funny.
So before I let you go, do you have anything upcoming that we can keep an eye out for? And I know you're talking about some musical release later in the year. Anything else going on?
I actually just booked a pilot. Well, right before Corona, I booked a
Ooh,
pilot for a DreamWorks animation, and hopefully that will
exciting.
pick up soon. But we'll see with Corona. But more updates on that soon, I guess. And
Yeah,
again, I'm releasing music, so in the
very
meantime, you'll have
exciting.
that to keep you busy with all my stuff.
So have you thought about trying? You do a lot of the voiceover. Have you thought about trying one of the superhero cartoons?
I feel like that would be so cool. I think I would be very intimidated by that though. I feel like being a superhero cartoon, like that's so scary. Like everybody's gonna be like, oh yeah. It's like being like Batman. It's like Batman. Like nobody
Yeah,
can do Batman.
but there's a lot of young superheroes. You could totally do that.
True. That's true.
You know, you just need like a Teen Titans type of
Exactly. Like a
cartoon.
Teen Titans Satfire. Yeah, like something like that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Or there used to be this cartoon that my daughter watched called Jim, and they
Ooh.
did a movie on it, and it's basically she's a singer.
Oh, is it Jim and the Holograms?
Yes, Jim and the Holograms.
I
Hey,
know.
they can remake that cartoon. That would be perfect for you because you could sing the whole time.
That cartoon's awesome. I love Jim and
Yeah,
the
she's
Holograms.
truly outrageous. That's what I remember. So before you go, Kyla, where can our listeners, our viewers, where can they find you on social media?
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram at Kyla D. Carter, and you can find my YouTube at Kyla Carter, my website at Kyla Carter, and my podcast Instagram is Kyla's Corner Podcast.
For now.
For now.
Thank you so much for
Thank you for
being on
having
here.
me. This is so great. It was great.
Well, yeah, this has been great. You have to come back.
Oh yes, I will.
Okay, hold on one second. All right, so just in case, because goofball that I am, I may have hit pause while I was talking before. So if you're hearing this the second time, my apologies. Kyla Carter, awesome. I'm just giving you the recap. She was amazing. If you haven't checked out her singing, please do so. She is incredible, just an unbelievable talent singing and acting. So please check her out. Thank you guys for listening. Check us out on Facebook under MeisterCon. Check out the website, meistercon.com, and we'll see you again real soon. And if you heard that twice, well, if you've been watching the podcast for the last 2 years, you know that stuff happens with me. So just hang in there. Talk to you guys later. Bye.